Yeah, shalom. And a praise and glory unto Yahweh. Basham Yahweh Shai. Basham Rakak Wadash. Big up all of the Akam and the Aquaf, the brethren and the sister them. Well, push 100% truth to the four corner. And double honor to all the elder them at Yashala, Israel, who come before me and push 100% truth to the four corner. So we are going to talk about the lights in the sky, right? The moon in particular. And we're going to talk about so-called, because there is no such thing as a lunar eclipse in the Bible. There is no such thing as the earth blocking the sun from the moon, and the moon getting a shadow of red light from. You see this? Them said the moon turned red because it's behind the ball earth, and the sunlight and the red light shadow. This is not biblical, right? And I have to rebuke the elder Apostle Tahar from GMS for saying that this is biblical. This is a lie. You understand? Revelation 18 and 5. For our sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai hath remembered our iniquities. So them lies. They're even lying about space, man. Their sins are piling up. And they're even lying about space and the operation of the sun and the moon and how it works and the shape of the earth. Bible describes the earth as a circle. And in the same book where it describes the earth as a circle, as the word for ball. The word for ball and circle in the Bible are two different words. Right? If you don't know that space is fake and the earth is flat right now, you have to come out to the high school mentality of just laughing at something. Yeah, it's funny when you first hear it, but then you have to look into it. The Bible said don't be ignorant in any matter, small or great. Right? And First Timothy 6 and 20 tell us, oh Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid in profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. Because they said that the moon. Hold on, wait there. Wait there. Or it close out. But they said that the moon being red is caused by the ball earth in front of the moon and between the sun. That's a fucking madness. And that's a lie. The moon is its own light and the sun is its own light. That's Genesis 1 and 16. And Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai made two great lights. The great light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So planets are just stars. They're not other worlds either. So the moon and sun are two different lights. The moonlight has nothing to do with the sunlight, and the sunlight has nothing to do with the moonlight. Now you do have solar eclipse. Right? A solar eclipse is when the moon goes in front of the sun. You can see that with your eyes. Everybody can see that with them own eyes. But to say that the earth is between, they say that the earth is between the sun, the earth is between the sun and the moon, and that caused the moon to turn red. Yo, that is a bugged out thing, daddy. You are bugged out. The moon turn red because its own light turn red. Sometimes the moon is orange. Sometimes the moon is white. Sometimes the moon turn red. You understand? The moon is its own light. Now, the elder apostle Tahar from the GMS, he would say in Matthew 27, verse 45. No, from the 6th hour, there was darkness over the land until the 9th hour. So from about 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock, or is it from 12 o'clock until 3 o'clock? One of them, right? He said, there was darkness over the land, and he said this darkness was caused by a lunar eclipse. Bro, you don't. The man is up there in age. The man has enough knowledge, but sometimes you have to cool down and settle down. One time, King David had to settle down and listen to the prophet Nathan. You understand? And this is another situation where an elder man like King David, right, has to listen to a lesser man like Prophet Nathan. So I'm telling the elder apostle Tahar from the GMS that this is not a lunar eclipse. This is not a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse. Right? It can't be a solar eclipse because we know say a solar eclipse can only happen during a certain time period in the year. And Passover it does not fall. Passover is a little bit before that time that the moon that solar eclipse can happen. Right? So in Exodus 10 and 21, and the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, and that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. This happened for about, like, what them say, 3 days or something? Or just one day in Egypt did this happen, right? And this had nothing to do with the sun and the moon. The Lord just caused darkness. You understand? And the same way with Matthew 20:27 and 45. No, from the 6th hour there was darkness over the land until the 9th hour. It's just dark. It could have been cloudy, or it could have been something like what the Lord doing in Egypt. Right? When you go into the book of Joel 2 and 31, this tell you that solar eclipses and lunar eclipses are an end time prophecy. Right now, the NASA man will say that solar eclipses and lunar eclipses has been happening since the dawn of time. Now, if that was the case, Joel would never have said this. Joel 2, verse 31, the sun shall be turned into darkness, solar eclipse, and the moon into blood. So-called lunar eclipse. The moonlight just turning red. Because sometimes you look on the moon, it's white. Other times it's yellow. And in special times, where it's a biblical sign, it is red. This never happened before the Lord jumped on the cross. You understand? This never happened before the Lord jumped on the cross, or else it would have been written in the Bible that it been happening. But it never written in the Bible that the moon was turned red. That a prophet said, Isaiah said, lo, I looked out today and the moon is red. What be this, the Lord Yahweh? Or the disciple John, the disciple Luke come out and say, Lord, 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 why is the moon red today? No, this never happened. This is an end time prophecy because 2 Ezra 9 and 1, he answered me then and said, measure all the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I told you before. So the Lord told us that in the end days before the coming, the moon would turn red and the sun would get dark. So that's the solar eclipses and that's the moon turning red. That's blood moons and solar eclipses. Right? Second Timothy 3 and 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times will come. So this how we know that we are not the last days by the signs. We see solar eclipses and we see blood moons. They have nothing to do with the sun the being between the earth, the sun being in front of the earth, and the earth is a ball because that's fuckery. And then the moon being behind the earth, so the sunlight get black and the moon turn red. Has nothing to do with each other. The moon is its own light. You understand? Genesis tell us that the Lord made two great lights. They are independent of each other in their shining, unless the moon go in front of the sun. Right? Uh, they have nothing to do with each other. The moonlight is independent of the sunlight, and the sunlight is independent of the moonlight. Right? Blood moons have only been happening, man. They tell you that this is right. Right? And this what the Lord said when him come back, everybody will go see him. Now look on America. America face one way, South America face the next way, Europe face the other way, Africa face one way, and Asia face the next way upon this. Right? How the fuck is everybody going to see the Lord if the earth look like this? Man, they must have let go. But early in the One West Ministries, they were teaching that Esau actually landed on the moon. But now that you see that people are bringing out, no, the moon is a light. You can't walk on a light unless you are an angel with a different type of body, a celestial body. You can't walk on the moon with a fleshly body because you're going to fall through. It's a light. If you stand in a dark room and you shoot a beam of flashlight from a torch, a flashlight torch, and you try to jump on the beam, you're gonna fall right through the fucking thing because you can't walk on light. You understand? This is a bug out madness. You understand? A bug out madness. No, Elder Apostle Tahar said the darkness was caused by a lunar eclipse. Right? He said it happened around 12 o'clock, the 6th hour to the 9th hour from 3. But during Passover, which is a full moon, Passover always falls on a full moon, the 14th day of the moon cycle, or the second Sabbath of the first month. But the moon, during a full moon, the moon rises during the sunset and the moon sets during the sunrise. So the moon was not out when your Awashai was upon the cross. The moon was not out when your Awashai was upon the cross. The sun was. So either it was cloudy, right? Either it was cloudy or it was the darkness, as in the darkness of Egypt, where it's just a plague of the Lord, a sign from the Lord. Right? Exodus 10 and 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, and that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even a darkness which may be felt. Right? Hold on. It was dark for 3 days. Hold on. So it was dark. But the children of Israel had light. That's what we didn't want to find. It was dark for the Egyptians, but it was light for the Israelites. Right? So hold on. Hold on. Verse 26. Verse 22. All right. Verse 22. I want to see the part where it said the Israelites had light, but the Egyptians did not have light. Hold on. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't click off. Yeah. Verse 22. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So you can just have darkness upon one part of the land, and it has nothing to do with the sun and the moon. You understand? Man, them have to come out of the globe ideology that there's a magical floating ball. That's a bugged out doctrine. And the more you hang on to it, now you are seep it in. And I said that you have 100% truth. And you are talking about the moon turn red because the sun is in front of the moon. The moon turn red because the earth is in front of the moon, behind the sun. That make no fucking sense when the moon is its own light. For this model is what they've been saying is happening throughout all the time, from Adam to Noah to King David to King Solomon to Nebuchadnezzar until now. That's what them said. Them said that this has been happening forever, since the dawn of time. When the Bible tell you that this is an end day prophecy right here, this is a sign of the end day. Joel 2 verse 31. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon into blood. Not the sun, not the moon will be behind the earth, but and the earth behind no. The moon is its own light. It's not a lunar eclipse. It is a blood moon. Then the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh shall come. Right? There's no such thing as a lunar eclipse. The moon turning red is just the Lord making the light red on the moon. It's simple. Man, them take the simplicity of Yahweh Shai and make it difficult because they just don't, they want to hang on because it's hard to say. Them own lips fall upon them own tongue fall upon them sometime. And that's for the Edomites, but we can use this for the Israelites too. Right? My tongue fall upon me one time. I used to teach that Saturday was the Sabbath. I've been in this for about 8, 9 years now. And for 5 years out of them 8, 9 years, I thought that Saturday was the Sabbath. No, I teach that the Sabbath is by the moon, right? Because my understanding has risen. I held that Apostle Tahar understand the need for rise upon this matter. That the lunar, the so-called lunar eclipse is not because the sun is in front of the earth and the moon behind the, because them said that this is the reason, right? Them said this is the reason why the lunar eclipse happened. The sun is on the other side of the planet and the moon is on the other side of the planet. The ball. But then them come out and say the same blood clot thing for why the moon is full. Them say a full moon rises around sunset when the sun is on the other side of the so-called ball. And it set at sunrise when the sun, when them opposite of each other. Right? I know it sounds like man a ramble, but I hope people understand what I'm saying. The darkness upon the crucifixion of Yahweh, so-called Jesus, was not because of a solar eclipse. It was not because of a lunar eclipse. Right? It's a full moon upon Passover, and full moons and the sun are far away from each other. You understand? Furthermore, the moon was set. So it could not be a solar eclipse because the darkness, because the moon long time set. When it's a full moon pan Passover, the moon set early in the morning, the moon rise up at night time and it's set early in the morning. And it's the shortest time period of the moon because during a full moon, the moon is only out for about 5 hours. Versus a new moon, the moon is out for 12 hours. The time that the moon comes out and leaves every day changes during the moon cycle. The scripture says, be not ignorant in no matter, small or great. And this is a small matter for some or a great matter for others. Be not ignorant in it. You understand? So, 1 Timothy 6 and 20. Oh, Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. A lunar eclipse is not caused by the ball earth in front of it. Bro, that's a bumbleclot fuckery right there, so. You have to come off of that, man. You have to come off of that. Okay, it's obvious to the whole blood clot world, except the ignorant people, that the earth is not a fucking ball. You understand? Or else the mainstream media would not be pushing so hard to say that it is a ball. You see me? And Yahweh made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. They are their own lights. So, just 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes are talking about it, man. You understand? This is an end time prophecy. Before Yahweh Shai jump on the cross, you never have a record of a solar eclipse happening in the Bible. Right? You never have a record of the moon turning red in the Bible. You have a prophecy saying that it will eventually happen, but it is not recorded happening in the Bible. So that is to say that this is an end time of the end time prophecy. It starts to happen after the death of Yahweh Shai on the cross. That's when these things start to happen. That the sun shall be turned into darkness from a solar eclipse and the moon into blood, a blood moon before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Now there's a different prophecy in a Joel about verse 15, right? Hold on. There's a different prophecy somewhere in a Joel. Yeah, verse 10. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their sight. This is different. This is when the nuclear bombs set off because the science man them already confirmed, the United States military already confirmed when nuclear weapons go off, if enough of them go off, it block out the sun, which means it's blocking out the moon and the stars also because it make the nuclear smoke go up into the air. You understand? This is different. This is a different prophecy. This is talking about the end of the end. The end of the end of the end. But right before Yahweh Shai come back. This in verse 31 is talking about a sign for sure you say he is coming. That these are in fact the last days, because man them from spiritual life lessons or spiritual death lessons, and some Old Testament only dickhead Israelites, right? Who Old Testament Israelites are idiots. Them say we are only in the Old Testament. Yahweh is a pagan, even though Yahweh is the son of David, and you as an Israelite have to bow down to the fucking sons of David because they are the kings from the tribe of Judah. And then them man they say, oh, he's a pagan. You man them don't fucking read the Old Testament. David's sons would be the fucking rulers of Israel. You understand? Those are the Judah man them that we bow down to, the children of Yahweh. Now we must bow down to, because Genesis prophesied that we would bow down to Judah. But these men are mad, right? So this is all I tell them, that we are in the last days, because you never have a record in the Bible. We just prove St. Matthew, when Yahweh was upon the cross, that when the darkness comes, that since Passover always on a full moon, and a full moon rise at the end of the day, right? And it's set at the beginning of the new day, being sunrise, I mean, the end of daylight and the beginning of daylight, that when it was 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, the darkness could not be caused by a solar eclipse because the moon was not out, nor could it be caused by a lunar being red, because that has nothing to fucking do with blocking out the sun. When the moon was red in Philadelphia, about last year in November, or 2 years ago, there was red light shining upon people. So it wasn't dark, it was red light. You understand? It was light. So the darkness had nothing to do with the moon and the sun. IUIC uses solar eclipses. They said that the Passover happened upon the dark moon. And now Elder Apostle Tahar is using so-called lunar eclipses to say that no, it happened upon a full moon. Elder Apostle Tahar, you already show man them through the scriptures that Passover happens upon the full moon, because the 14th day within every moon cycle is a full moon. And the first, you already proved that to the people, man. You already proved that to the people. You don't need to bring in Baal, Earth, heliocentricity, paganism to prove anything. You already prove it, Elder. You have me know that Saturday is not the Sabbath. You already prove it. Passover is the second Sabbath. So you already prove it. And Mary come a week later, because the end of the Sabbath, and then Yahushua was already risen. Mean that it can't be the end of the Sabbath of Passover that Mary come. It had to be a week later, since Passover comes from a Sabbath. And Passover 7 days, so it's a Sabbath to a Sabbath. You understand? So before me ramble and lose my train of thought, shalom, peace and blessings. I hope this was helpful to people and it was edifying, yeah?